of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona, Western Conference Championship Series. Phoenix Suns leading Seattle 1-0. The Phoenix Suns got game number 1, 105-91, a 14-point victory. And whenever you talk about the Suns, Charles Barkley does something right. He had a less than productive night scoring, but 14 rebounds. And Doug Collins, as you look at the Final Four in the playoffs, you see that for the most part, every team has a superstar.
Well, 3 of the 4 teams have a superstar. And let's look what these guys are doing in the playoffs. Michael Jordan, 32 points a game and countless other things. Patrick Ewing, 25 and 12. Charles Barkley, about 26 and 14. But for Seattle, it's been by committee. They have 6 players in double figures. The problem with that is from night to night, they're not really sure who they're going to get it from. They're only averaging 88 points a game on the road. Average margin of defeat, 14 points a game since they won Game 4 in Utah.
Often Sean Kemp is the young star of Seattle, but when it gets late in the game, they go to a couple of grizzled veterans in Pierce and Johnson, and they've not been getting it done.
George Karl has said for them to win, one of these 2 guys has got to get hot. Dan Marley did an excellent job in the Game 1 against Ricky Pierce. We see his field goal percentage is down 49 points. Ricky Pierce, 6 points the other night, a playoff low.
Now, the Phoenix Suns only led by 4 at halftime in game number 1, but when you analyze what Phoenix did in game 1, they had a nearly flawless game. This was a team that played very well and showed some good depth.
Very difficult for them to trap Kevin Johnson and take the ball out of his hands because Phoenix now has other ball handlers. Marley had 9 assists the other night. Charles only took 12 shots, but I thought it was the 21 points of Sabalas off the bench and Oliver Miller's 5 block shots, 15 points and 10 rebounds that really sparked this Phoenix team.
So tonight, it'll be Game 2, Phoenix and Seattle. Will the Seattle SuperSonics that are explosive show up? Will Phoenix continue to being the team of consistency? We know one thing, Charles Barkley will be the star. Charles Barkley has been named MVP, and here's the trophy presentation.
To attention the center court, where NBA Commissioner David Stern will present the 1993 NBA Most Valuable Player of the Year award.
Perennial All-Star. You've been the All-Star MVP. You've helped bring the Olympic gold medal back to the United States. And this year, you've had a season, I guess you would say that if you were looking for what an MVP season is, your season this year is a role model for an MVP season. You led your team in assists, you led them in rebounds, you led them in points, and you led them to the best record in the NBA. The fans here and around America join me in congratulating you, Charles Barkley, the 1992-93 National Basketball Association Most Valuable Player. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Charles, and thank you, Commissioner Stern.
West Arena. Bob Neal and Doug Collins with you. Game 2 Western Conference Finals between the Sonics and the Suns. Here are the Jeep Eagles starting matchups.
Well, we talked about the importance of Ricky Pierce having a big game offensively. Gary Payton must make some outside shots. I look for Seattle to maybe change up their double teaming a little bit tonight on Barkley. Maybe not go at him so hard quickly. Make him put it on the floor and pass off the dribble.
From the America West Arena, the starting lineups with the lights down and the spotlights on the floor, the laser beams, the giant video screens. You'd think you were at a rock concert. And the lead guitarist is that man, Charles Barkley, who received his Most Valuable Player trophy here at America West from Commissioner David Stern just moments ago. The Seattle SuperSonics came out and played a good first half, Doug, trailing by only 4 in game number 1. We wondered if they would be tired coming off the 7-game series. I don't know if they were so physically tired or if they just didn't have the mental durability in that second game, but they had a lot of problems.
Well, you see their problem. 41% from the field, 91 points they scored with Pierce and Eddie Johnson combining for 10. They had 17 turnovers and their bench was outscored by 14. I thought their first half was played very well. They forced 13 turnovers. They lost their legs a little bit in the second half, forcing only 2 turnovers. And Phoenix hit them with a 7-point burst. Remember, real quickly, about 1 minute and 7 seconds. It went from a 1-point lead to an 8-point lead. And you see Phoenix, 51% from the field, out-rebounding by 4. Barkley and Miller combining for 24. They had 8 more assists. Marley with 9 as they try to take the ball out of KJ's hand. And 16 block shots, a team record led by 5 of Oliver Miller.
Paul Westphal, the head coach of Phoenix, has his retired jersey hanging in the rafters here. He had part of his great career here with the Phoenix Suns, wearing number 44. He also played with the Boston Celtics. And he took over for Cotton Fitzsimmons and has done a marvelous job with this young team. Mike Mathis, Venice Salvatore, and Ronnie Nunn are our officials tonight. 19,027 packed into the beautiful, glamorous America West Arena here in the Valley of the Sun. Sonics and Suns. Kemp and West jumping. And Marley runs it down. We saw him handle the ball a great deal in the first half last night as the Sonics were able to get the ball out of point guard Kevin Johnson's hands. Marley with it here to Charles Barkley. He's alone as McKee had dropped down low. Charles missing. Here is Gary Payton.
Same play they ran to start game 1. Charles hit it the first night. Tonight he was off on his first shot, so they come on to him early.
Ricky Pierce at the guard along with Payton. Kemp, Perkins, and McKee up front.
Sam Perkins in game 1 hit 3 3-pointers. Unfortunately, he was 3 for 11, 0 for 8 from the 2-point strike.
With only 4 seconds to shoot, Ricky Pierce has to throw one up, and he's fouled by Cedric Ceballos, who injured his foot in the third quarter of the game. He had been playing with a little bit of a stress fracture. He went out, his condition was unknown. He practiced yesterday, and really up until game time, they didn't know how Cedric would be. If he can't go the full way because of the sore foot, Richard Dumas will come in and give him a lot of playing time.
Bob, the one thing about Ceballos that he did in game 1 is we see Ricky Pierce make his first free throw. He released a lot on jump shots, and he got behind the Seattle guards defensively. George Karl said that's one of the areas they talked about. They cannot allow Ceballos to release and get easy layups.
First 2 points of the game come off of Ricky Pierce, one of the best free throw shooters in the NBA. Some full court pressure now being relaxed by the Sonics. Oh, there's the trap on Marley. Kevin Johnson back to Thunder Dan. Inside, Ceballos goes to the left hand and gets it to bank home, and it's tied at 2. Gary Payton travels. Sideline inbound from Mark West, the center, to Kevin Johnson, defended by Payton.
Anytime he brings the ball up the floor, look for Kemp to run at him and double team and force him to give it up quickly.
Barkley left all alone, but he passes it into West. West throws it right into the chest of Sam Perkins. A Phoenix turnover. They had only 15 in the entire game last night, but 13 in the first half. Marley with the rebound off the Payton miss. Sonics ball.
I'm sure that George Karl would like to see Gary Payton make a couple of those jump shots. He had a wide-open 15-footer on the baseline. He had a 2 for 15 Game 7 against Houston. He came back the other night and shot 6 for 11, but really only hit one outside jumper. The other 5 were on penetrating drives and scores off transition.
Sam Perkins to Kemp. 10 on the shot clock. Perkins for 3. He had 3 3-pointers in game number 1, the only 3-pointers for the entire Seattle team. Kevin Johnson's pull-up jumper off the transition. Kemp with the rebound. Ricky Pierce from 16 feet.
See, Ricky Pierce gets off, Bob, with 2 free throws and a little guard-to-guard dribble handoff. Ricky Pierce comes off for the jump shot, so they're looking now to get him involved here early against Dan Marley. They know they need his scoring.
Charles Barkley has yet to score. Took the opening shot of the game, a jumper, and missed. 7 seconds to shoot. Marley leans in and is bailed out there as the personal foul is called. It'll be charged against Ricky Pierce. Pierce with early foul trouble last night, or Monday night, spent a lot of time on the bench.
Yes, he did. And the moment the other night in the third period that he got a little bit on track offensively, he scored 3 quick field goals. He picked up his 4th foul. Never got back into the rhythm of the game. Seattle was really hanging around at that about a 7-point margin. Never was able to get back into his rhythm.
And Marley misses the first of the 2 free throws. Marley only shooting 58% from the line for the playoffs. Struggling from the field a bit too.
He's really doing a good job defensively, though. He's had some great matchups here early in the playoff rounds. He now has his hands full with Ricky Pierce, so his job really is to try to stifle Pierce, keep him away from the big nights, and what he gives you offensively becomes a little gravy.
The deflection by Charles Barkley, 12 on the shot clock, and the Sonics will start their play again. Charles smiling. He's a happy man since he was named MVP yesterday. His mother, Chansey, flew in from Leeds, Alabama, and surprised him at the news conference. Just simply walked in and said, "Charles, Mama is here."
We had a great time last night watching the Knicks Bulls game with him at a restaurant. Charles was so excited watching that game.
He's a sports fan. He was also into the hockey game that was going on the other side. That was close to over and back. Marley looking for somebody to bail him out. Traveling is the call on Marley as he came down before he passed it. 2 Phoenix turnovers. 8:54 to go, first quarter. Bob Neal, Doug Collins with you from America West Arena. Game 2, Western Conference Finals. Phoenix won the first one by 14 points. Inside to Kemp. He had to be fouled. Nobody was really defending him on the entry pass. Pretty easy lob into it.
Bob, what happened on that? They ran a little interchange across. When you screen across the lane to flash Kemp to the basketball, the defender turned his head, and the offensive player just floated it up. Sean Kemp was able to grab it and take it to the basket. So the defensive man lost vision to basketball. See, watch this now. Payton is going to screen across. Now watch Kevin Johnson here. He loses vision of the ball right there, so you just throw right over the top of his head. That's the old ball you man principle where you have to be in a position to guard the man and also see the basketball.
Kemp misses them both. He's an 81% playoff free throw shooter, and this is what happens when the Phoenix Suns run. Kevin Johnson hard to the hoop. He misses it, and the foul is going to be against Cedric Ceballos, his second. Paul Westphal is going to make an early substitution, get Richard Dumas into the game.
This is where you have really 2 interchangeable small forwards. Ceballos started in game 1 because Paul Westphal felt like he had more experience and was a better rebounder. So that hunch worked. Now it's going to be important for Richard Dumas to come in for Ceballos and play at the level that Ceballos played in game 1. He was real key, 21 points in 23 minutes.
Neither team shooting that well early. Seattle 1 out of 4, Phoenix 1 out of 5. 4-3, Sonics lead. 8.5 to go first quarter. McKee in some trouble with Dumas. Backing in with 6 seconds to shoot. The short jump hook doesn't go down. Charles Barkley with the rebound and the break. The block by Sean Kemp. Barkley goes down. Ricky Pierce hands it to McKee. The behind-the-back pass out of the triple team. Nice play by Derek McKee.
Boy, a frantic action. When we play Seattle, it's going to be an up and down, disjointed game, so just strap it on and be ready.
Look at this block from Sean Kemp.
Well, Charles is going to take the ball right to Perkins, and he doesn't see Kemp coming, and here comes Sean Kemp. Normally, most block shots come from a man off the ball rather than the guy playing the ball, so Perkins made Charles change his shot, and then Kemp came over and got the nice shot block. Here's the post-up. Let's see when they come double. He puts it on the floor.
Illegal defense.
Now, in game one, Bob, what they were doing, they were running at Charles in the low post the minute he caught it, and he was able to see the double team and throw right over the top of it. I think tonight they're going to be slower coming, wait for him to dribble it, and then when it goes on the floor, run at him and force him to make the pass off the dribble.
New shot clock after the illegal defense. Barkley inside the paint. He draws the foul.
See, the one thing about that, when Charles comes into the lane, your double team is going to be coming from the weak side. Here comes the double team, so you can't let him spin back, because when he spins back, he goes away from all the traffic. So once you get him going in one direction, you must keep him going that way so you can get the trap.
That's the second foul on Sam Perkins. He's been matched up defensively one-on-one against Charles Barkley here early. Held Barkley to no field goals so far, and I think Michael Cage is going to get in here for Perkins, who has the 2 early fouls. Charles is a 75% playoffs free throw shooter. Here's Cage, averaging nearly 6 rebounds a game.
In 12 playoff games, Charles Barkley's been to the free throw line 105 times, so he's almost at 9 free throw attempts a game. So it's very important. The game stops, you get a chance to get your rest, you get a chance to pick up a couple free throws at the line. More importantly, you must shoot a good percentage in there when you're Charles Barkley. You're going to the line that many times. That should be 8 points a ball game, at least 7 points a game for your team if you get there 9 times.
I don't know what the percentages are because they really don't keep them, but late in a ball game, Charles is about 9 out of 10 from the line. 6-5 Sonics, 7:20 to go first quarter. Down low to McKee, 6'10" on the baseline, can't get it to go. Knocked out of bounds.
Now the reason that foul was called was because Barkley lost the ball. They were holding off on the call to see whether Barkley was going to get possession. Now that's good officiating. George Karl is not happy, but when you're going to see the play over the top, Kemp is going to come over Barkley right there. There was no call at that point. Had Charles picked up the ball right there, there would not have been a call. Once he lost it, they called the foul.
Sean Kemp's first personal on the loose ball foul. This will be Suns ball with 18 seconds on the shot clock. They kicked it out of bounds, so they'll reset the shot clock and inbound it from the sideline. Very low-scoring game. We've had 5 minutes played, a total of 11 points. Suns have only 1 field goal. Cedric Ceballos, the opening minute. Whistle down by Mike Mathis. Down on the baseline. Derek McKee will be called for the first one, and that's his first.
A lot of arm wrestling down in the low post here early in the game. We've seen Kemp called now. We've seen McKee already in the penalty situation. We've only played 5 minutes, so Phoenix right now should be able to attack the basket, get to the line. Now, one of the keys that we talked to George Karl about in game 1 was to keep the Suns off the free throw line. When the Suns went there 20 times or more in the regular season, they won twice. When they didn't, Seattle won the 3 games. So the free throw line a real key when you play Phoenix.
Kevin Johnson gets them both. Suns lead 7-6 with 6:59 to go in the first quarter.
Bob, on the season, Phoenix was number 1 in free throws made, number 2 in attempts. They had 410 more free throws made than their opponents.
McKee on the drive is fouled by Richard Dumas. Sonics in the penalty, and the Suns will be in the penalty on the next whistle. We have a timeout on the floor with the Suns leading a baseball score of 7-6. Suns lead at 7-6 with 6:48 to go in the first quarter. Field goal percentage, Seattle shooting 29%. They're 2 of 7. Phoenix 1 of 6, 17%. Their points have come from the free throw line. Only 1 Phoenix field goal in this ball game so far. Phoenix scored 113 points a game in the regular season, averaging 102 in the playoffs.
And Seattle scored 108 and are averaging right at 96. So both teams down right at 11, 12 points a game in the playoffs. Tells you the teams start being played a little bit closer to the vest.
Sean Kemp defended by Barkley. That's the bounce, Sean Kemp. First field goal of the night for Sean.
Again, you see Dan Marley advancing the ball. Kevin Johnson releasing down the floor to take away the double teaming at half court.
Tom Chambers just checked into the game, turns around from 16 feet and shoots at 15, gets the air ball, and it'll be Sonics ball, leading it by a point.
Go right back into Kemp. He scored one time against Charles. Make him stop it. You know, just keep posting him up. Make Charles play both ends of the floor.
Kemp at 6'10". Charles at 6'5". Payton.
See, he's really short on his shot. He's getting no rotation. That's 2 open jumpers that he's missed. You can just see he's not really releasing it with much confidence.
There's the double team on Barkley. Marley's open for the 3.
See, I don't think they want that. I don't think they want Marley being left to double team Barkley out there for that wide open 3-point shot. I saw Bob Koppenberg's face, the assistant. It's like, no, we don't want that.
John Kemp with 10 on the clock. Down to Derek McKee. He has 6'10" also. He has the size advantage over Dumas. Dumas flops, no call. Kept alive by Chambers, but controlled by Pierce. Payton in the paint. Can't get that to fall either. Kevin Johnson to Barkley. Pierce spinning layup.
That was a power move by Ricky Pierce. He has this big, strong body. He's not going to out-quick you, but what he does, he draws contact, and then he rolls off your body. That was a nice move by Ricky Pierce to get the easy layup.
Now these teams scoring a little bit more freely. 12-10 Suns. Illegal defense. That'll be the second one called against Seattle. It'll be the second violation, and the technical free throw will be shot as Nate McMillan enters the game for Derek McKee.
31, Derek McKee. Kevin Johnson at the line will shoot the technical free throw.
One thing I've noticed early in this game is on the Seattle offensive end, because no one is shooting the outside shot, they're losing their spacing on the floor. So everybody's on top of each other. There are no passing lanes, no place to go. Someone has got to make an outside shot because there are no lanes to cut through. You take away a post game, guys, just lay back, take away passing angles. So someone has got to hit some perimeter shots. Payton is 0 for 3 in the ball game. McKee is 0 for 3. Ricky Pierce has gotten off to a good start, but he really only hit one outside shot. The other one was a spinning jumper in the lane and 2 free throws.
4:22 to go in the first quarter. 13-10 Phoenix. Dumas. A beautiful move inside. Ricky Pierce fell down on the initial defense. 5-point Suns lead. Payton inside to Michael Cage. Barkley with the rebound. Inside to Dumas, knocked out of bounds. Off of Dumas, it'll be Phoenix ball.
That's a good call. He started to go up with the ball. It was stripped and it went right off his leg, went right out of bounds. Here's Charles, gets in the air, finds Dumas, and the pump fake, there's the ball stripped right off of his thigh, out of bounds. Good call. Look at this. So Seattle just cannot make a shot. Nate McMillan was 3 for 12 in game 1. He misses his first shot.
Marley down to Dumas. His turnaround jumper will go.
How about this for Phoenix? They lose Sabalas to fouls. He had 21 points in 23 minutes. Now Richard Dumas comes in, hits 2 big field goals, gives Phoenix a 7-point lead.
Timeout, Seattle. Run in the last 4 minutes, 40 seconds, and Seattle shooting 4 of 15. That's 27%. They missed their last 5.
Well, let's look what they've done in the regular season. Payton is down 5 percentage points. Ricky Pierce 7 percentage points. Eddie Johnson 10. Nate McMillan 11. This is the woes of Seattle shooting. They're averaging 88 points a game on the road, 102 at home, so they're 14 points down in their scoring on the road.
Kevin Johnson to Barkley. He's fouled by Nate McMillan on the turnover and the Phoenix fast break. 3:06 to go in the first quarter. Barkley goes back to the line. Charles has one field goal, 2 free throws early. The field goal, however, was a definite exclamation point. Received his most valuable player trophy before the game. Yesterday was MVP day for Charles. And there's his mom, Charcy, who's in attendance tonight from Leeds, Alabama. She had to find out that Charles had won the MVP award through the media because Charles said, I knew if I told my mama, it'd be all over the world. Suns with a 9-point lead. 3 minutes to go in the quarter. More importantly, Seattle has scored only 10 points in this quarter.
We see the disparity at the free throw line. Phoenix 8 for 9. Seattle only 2 for 4. So early in the game, +7 at the free throw line for Phoenix, and they've already been there 9 times. That's well over 30 times during the course of the game if they keep this up.
Eddie Johnson now is going to go to the free throw line as Dumas has 2 personals. Eddie Johnson just checking in. Eddie Johnson's the kind of offensive man who can really light it up. He was struggling offensively here at Phoenix when they made the trade to Seattle. He's a former Phoenix Suns, but since there he's played well in the playoffs. However, he has been sliding downhill since the first round.
Well, you look at the flexibility of this Phoenix team. If Danny Ainge can come in and play the big guard, Marley can move down to small forward now because Dumas and Sabalas both have 2 personal fouls. So foul trouble will not be as damaging to them because of their versatility.
Dumas tried to bounce it between 3, and it comes loose to Barkley. He's fouled by McMillan.
A great perseverance by Richard Dumas. He did not quit on the play. He made a very difficult pass. It was loose on the floor, and he got down on the floor and created the loose ball right there. He gets down, knocks it loose from Payton, and Charles Barkley will get back to the free throw line. So already now 10 and 11 free throws in this quarter. Charles Barkley going there now for the 5th and 6th times. He's 4 out of 4.
Dana Barros checks in for Seattle. Here's Frankie Johnson, who's had himself a good playoff series for the Phoenix Suns. And for Kevin Johnson.
They bring Frankie Johnson in to match up against Dana Barros. So you can see right now the coaches trying to rest their players at certain times. I'm sure you'd like to have Kevin Johnson on the floor against Gary Payton or Nate McMillan. With Barros coming in, it feels like he can give Frank Johnson some time, get KJ a little rest.
Charles misses his 2nd free throw of this game, and there's an 8-point Suns lead. 2:31 to go, first quarter.
See if they go to Eddie Johnson, try to get him off a jump shot here.
Marley right in his shirt, 10 to shoot for Seattle.
They got a screen. They're getting a lot of motion, but they're not screening anymore.
Eddie Johnson from long range. That's a 2.
You got to put bodies on people. When you run motion, many times you don't screen. You just pass each other. You got to free up these shooters by being able to get them some good screens.
Dumas very quickly to the hoop, has it rejected. McMillan comes away with it. Michael Cage, not a good outside shooter, elects not to try to shoot over Chambers, but instead to power it inside.
There's that spin move again. Once you get a guy going across the middle, and I know I said it with Barkley a while ago, you can't let him spin because there is no help.
Sonics within 4. Got the foul away from the ball on Eddie Johnson.
This is supposed to be the Wild Wild West out there where there's no fouls. Everybody's running up and down the floor. This has been a battle of the whistles here in this first quarter. Both teams doing a lot of fouling, and Phoenix shooting a lot of free throws. This is what, the 13th free throw of the quarter?
Phoenix will be the 12th. Phoenix 9 of 11 as Dumas goes to the line. Richard Dumas been averaging 11 points a game in the playoffs.
50% of the Suns' points now are coming from the free throw line. They have 5 field goals and 10 free throws, 1 3-pointer.
Dumas gets them both. 22-16 Phoenix. Minute 34 to go in the first quarter. Sonics looking for somebody to step up here and offer a threat.
So the two perimeter shooters on the floor right now are Barrows and Eddie Johnson.
Inside to Cage. He can't handle the ball. Here is Frank Johnson. Has Marley and Barkley. Charles has 9 points. Cage quickly answers the pass from Nate McMillan. Nate McMillan hasn't been scoring much, but he leads this team in assists. And this is interesting, Doug. Seattle's leading assist man in the playoffs is McMillan at 5.3 assists.
Well, they play so many people. Guys not getting the heavy minutes, so they run a lot of different guys at the point guard. Barrows play out there also with Payton and McMillan. So you have really 3 point guards.
Johnson runs it down. Good hustle play.
But Charles wants to shoot that three. You could feel it.
Kemp with the rebound.
He's had 2 or 3 dunks in the game. Charles, I think I'll slide out here and crank up a 3. Well, Seattle's only down 6, and as poorly as they have shot here in the first quarter, that's a good sign. It's a better sign if he buries his jump shot.
Eddie Johnson took that shot off that baseline pick. Wouldn't go. 15 seconds to go in the quarter. Suns leading it by 6.
Illegal defense on Cage. He's not guarding anybody. Better come quickly.
That's what Charles said. What about it? Chambers misses at the buzzer. Charles turned around and looked to Bennett Salvatore and said, what about the illegal defense? Seattle shot 37% in the first quarter, trailed by as many as 9, and 6 as the horn sounds. Phoenix up 1-0 in this second game of the Western Conference Finals. The Phoenix Suns leading it by 6 here. Seattle 37%, Suns 38%. And interestingly for the Sonics, the man with the most shot attempts is Michael Cage. Not a good sign.
Well, Peyton McKee Perkins 1 for 9, Cage 2 for 4. The big difference, the free throw line 11 for 13 for Phoenix, only 4 of 6 for Seattle.
Kemp with a jam. Nobody was there to defend him. Oliver Miller checks in. It's Miller, Ainge, Tom Chambers, Frankie Johnson, and Dan Marley on the floor for the Phoenix Suns to begin quarter.
That was respect. Excuse me, Bob. That was respect with Oliver Miller right there. Sean Kemp, realizing his shot blocking ability, did not go in there with anything easy. He went a power dunk.
Oliver Miller had 5 shot blocks in game 1. Nate McMillan with the foul on Dan Marley, and that's 2 on McMillan.
You see the great passing touch of Oliver Miller. He takes the ball on the dribble, gets a nice passing angle, and drops it in low to Marley, delivers it right to the proper spot. You see this, he's going to take it over. Look at the bounce pass off the dribble. Player up on the high side. He gets it to the baseline side, and Marley now back to the free throw line. So this has been the place where Phoenix has lived and been able to get the lead even with their poor field goal shooting.
Ricky Pierce checks back into the game for Seattle. Dan Marley only shooting 40% from the field in the playoffs and only 58% from the line. 25-20, Suns by 5, 11-13 to go in the half.
Looks like he's shooting a lot upper body at his free throw, not getting his legs into the shot.
McMillan with the pick and roll. Kemp finds Johnson, 5 to shoot. Cage. Good passing, but the block by Oliver Miller. They're going to call the foul.
I think they're going to call it on Kemp on the offensive foul using the left arm.
It'll take the block away from Miller, but he'll be happy to have Kemp pick up his second personal foul.
What's the left arm? Right there. He wipes him away. Miller still gets the block shot, but that's 2 now on Sean Kemp.
Suns by 5. Kevin Johnson back in the game. Tom Chambers down low. Got one of the offensive rebounds, couldn't put it back up and in there. The aging legs. McMillan tried to pass to McKee. Knocked out of bounds by Phoenix. 18 on the shot clock for the Sonics. Perkins checks back into the basketball game.
Good shooting team right now on the floor, though, for Seattle. You bring Perkins back. We know his three-point shooting. You now have Eddie Johnson and Ricky Pierce together. McMillan as the point guard, so you really have 3 active shooters and McKee on the floor. Let's see what this lineup will do for the Sonics. Maybe it'll free up some outside jump shots.
Like that one from Pierce. He misses. Miller runs it down. Kevin Johnson. Marley takes it hard to the hoop. Perkins was there to cause him to change the shot. Ricky Pierce. Nate McMillan with the assist. Pierce has 8 points to lead all Seattle scorers, and it is a 3-point Phoenix lead. Chambers with his first basket.
Chambers was frustrated from the previous possession. He had 3 shots at it, didn't get any of them to go. That time just lowered his shoulders. Sam Perkins upset, thought that Chambers should have been called with a personal foul.
Derek McKee, what a collision with Danny Ainge.
Grabs it first. Side timeout.
It's on Ricky Pierce, Danny Ainge, excuse me, his first. And we have a timeout on the floor with 9:39 to go in the half. 27-22, Suns leading.
Suns lead 27-22. Let's take a look when Kevin Johnson brings the ball up the floor. This is KJ, and this is going to be your double team right here. We're going to run this forward. And we stop it right there. See, this is to get KJ to give the ball up. This man actually rotates up, and he's trying to play 2 people. So they force him to give it up, use a little bit of time, rotate back, get the ball out of Kevin Johnson's hands. This is the way they'd like to disrupt the Phoenix attack.
Phoenix leading by 5. 9:32 to go in the first half. Sonics looking for some consistent offense from somebody. Nice pass from Perkins down inside to Ricky Pierce, who has 10 points now.
He and Eddie Johnson have already gotten 14 in tonight's game. They had only 10 in the entire game 1. Good sign for Seattle.
We got the foul called on Nate McMillan. That'll be his third. Only second team foul. Only 1 against Phoenix with 9:10 to go in half.
You know, it appears that Phoenix has really outplayed Seattle up to this point. They only have a 3-point lead. I think if you're Seattle, you have to be very happy about that. They're hanging around and really playing through some poor shooting right now and giving up a lot of free throws. So they're in good position right now.
Chambers kicks it to Marley for 3. Marley has 2 threes in this game. A 6-point Suns lead. Pierce now with 12. He's starting to heat up a little bit.
Phoenix does not like that matchup. Danny Ainge right now on Ricky Pierce, so look for them to continue to go at that. You've got Marley playing Eddie Johnson now, so look for Ricky Pierce to be very active against Ainge.
Marley misses from the perimeter, and Seattle back very quickly. Perkins thought about the 3. Spinning shot inside. He draws the foul. Payton back into the game, and Charles Barkley also is going to re-enter. That's the first on Oliver Miller.
His first, 17 foul. Number 20, Gary Payton returns to the Sonics lineup.
Sam Perkins goes to the line, 85% free throw shooter.
Sam Perkins on the line to shoot
2. Let's watch this now. Bob, here's the double team on KJ. If we hold it right there, there's a double team, the movement, and they're going to make the extra pass to Marley, and he's going to be able to hit the 3. McKee can't get there. That's what happens when you double team and space the floor. The importance of shooting the outside shot.
Perkins gets them both. It's a 2-point Phoenix lead. Ainge missing. Marley rebounding. Punched away by Payton. Eddie Johnson. Blocked by Kevin Johnson. 19 on the shot clock.
Hey, this shot blocking is becoming contagious. 16 the other night. You've got your point guard now swatting Eddie Johnson. Here he turns him back. He thinks he's got Ainge beat, which he does, but KJ comes exploding into the picture with a nice block.
Quick turnaround jumper from Eddie Johnson, and this game is tied at 30.
Well, you see the veteran in it. No, he gets his shot blocked. It does not deter him at all. He comes back and looks for the next one and gets it.
Got the switch here with Perkins on Kevin Johnson and Pierce down on Miller, but they can't get him the ball. The foul on Marley as he drives. It's on Peyton. That's his third. McMillan has 3 also.
Sabalos in the game right now for Danny Ainge. That's the matchup we talked about a while ago. Eddie Johnson and Ricky Pierce into the game against Marley and Ainge. So Marley can only guard one of those 2 guys. You're going to have to now come back in maybe with a better defender. Sabalos now will be an Eddie Johnson. Eddie Johnson had a lot of trouble in game 1 with Sabalos because they lost vision and Sabalos worked the baseline and got some easy scores. Let's see if he pays attention to him tonight.
Miller posted against Perkins. And a short jump of Oliver Miller. Stops a 6-0 Seattle run.
Got to show up, Oliver. Eddie's shooting it right now.
Oliver Miller kept it alive but lost it out of bounds. Sonics ball.
And when that screen rolled, Oliver Miller, he stayed back. Fortunately for Phoenix, Eddie Johnson missed the jumper. You must show out there big against Pierce and Eddie Johnson. The other guys, you can go underneath the screen. You must fight over and get a hand up in the shooter's face.
Marley playing Pierce. Pierce will pull up and shoot it anyway, though. He's feeling it tonight. And Ricky has 14. He is 4 out of 5 this quarter. George Carl unhappy as Derek McKee called for the personal, his second. And that's the 4th team foul, by the way, with 7:13 to go in the half, and the Suns are going to start parading to the line again.
5th foul was committed at the 7-minute mark in the first quarter. They shot 13 free throws. Now you've got the 5th foul at 7:10. So the rest of the half now, Phoenix will shoot free throws. This is not a good sign for the Sonics. What it means is they're doing a lot of reaching and grabbing, and Phoenix is attacking their trapping defense with a penetrating drive rather than the pass.
That's 3 on Derek McKee as Sabalos goes to the free throw line.
Bob, when you get teams scrambling you and running schemes and double teaming, you must make the pass and then you've got to attack and make them try to catch up to you. You're normally going to be one step ahead of them all the time, and you've got a lot of guys right now on this Phoenix team that can beat you off the dribble. Marley can put it on the floor. Sabalos, Barkley, KJ, really Miller, the only guy on the floor right now who you wouldn't want dribbling the ball too much.
McKee is going to sit down with his 3 fouls. Eddie Johnson, Ricky Pierce, Peyton, Sean Kemp, and Perkins are on the floor for Seattle. Trailing by 2. Sonics ball with 16 on the clock. Eddie Johnson leaning in and going to his right hand. Touchdown, Oliver Miller rebound. To Barkley, look out. Sabalos in trouble on that pass from Barkley. And some words exchanged down there between Eddie Johnson and Cedric Sabalos.
It was a technical also. I don't know who it's going to be on. Someone said something. Mike Mathis hit someone with a tee.
Looks like it's on Eddie Johnson. We'll check on it. We're going to take a commercial timeout here. Come back and give you a full report on the technical from America West. Foul on Cedric Sabalos. Hard to tell exactly what happened, but here's the replay.
Well, Mike Mathis rules that after all this goes on and they're walking off the floor, that Sabalos throws the ball at Eddie Johnson. Not very hard, but right there he throws him and hits him in the back. Now, you say, why the technical? I think you don't want anything inside at that point in time. And that was not something that would look as real flagrant, but the technical was called nonetheless.
You think of that New York-Chicago game last night.
Yeah,
if they'd have called a technical on those kind of plays, that game would have been just a parade back and forth. At any rate, the technical is shot and made, and it is a 1-point game now, and the ball will belong to the Phoenix Suns.
Let's see if Phoenix can capitalize on getting to the free throw line now. Remember, the Sonics are in the penalty, so see if they can get there and take advantage of the Seattle fouling here again early in this period.
7 seconds to shoot for Phoenix. Down to 4. Barkley missing. Perkins rebounding.
See, Seattle scores here. They're in the lead, so quietly they have crept back into this off the shooting from that man right there. Ricky Pierce is having an excellent first half.
And he drew the foul. It's on Marley. From America West Arena, Bob Neal and Doug Collins with you. This is Game 2, Western Conference Finals between Phoenix and Seattle. The Suns leading it by 1 at this moment with 6:22 to go in the half. Phoenix has led it by as many as 9. Ricky Pierce with 14 points already in this ball game. Make it 15.
You know, Bob, I just noticed something about Ricky Pierce shooting free throws. I don't know if he'll do it this time, but he doesn't shoot with the seams normally the way you'd have a shooter shoot with it. He was shooting against the seams at that time. Let's see if he does it the same way. Normally you like to get the rotation where you can see the seams. His goes sideways. I always liked it where it went end over end.
Rare miss by Ricky on that one. Tied at 34.
Who am I to say he's only a 90% free throw shooter? Ricky, do it however you want.
Free throw shooting is kind of like swinging a bat in baseball, whatever works, huh? Miller is fouled. Kemp picked up his third. McKee has 3. McMillan has 3. Payton has 3.
2 shots.
And Oliver Miller goes to the free throw line. He is only a 50% free throw shooter. Little above 50. And at the conclusion of tonight's game, Doug Collins and I will be selecting the Budweiser player of the game. Kemp out, K. Jen.
He's moving around a lot on the line. You know, he shot the ball and he wanted to track it down. Just shoot it and stand on the line. Don't move. Take away all your body movement. You're leaning. Finish up on your toes. Follow through to the target. Just like that. Although he does miss it, but he stayed with that shot much nicer.
Payton with a rebound. Tied at 34. 6 minutes to go in the first half.
I'm going to go back to Ricky Pierce, Bob. He's the man that's been carrying this team in the first half.
Down low to Perkins. His turnaround jumper over Oliver Miller. And Sam Perkins has 4 points. That's Sam's first field goal. Marley feeds to Kevin Johnson. Good ball movement. Kevin shoots it flat and misses. Here comes Payton. Has Pierce with him and Perkins.
2 passes, and you've got Pierce for a jumper. They're going to get Eddie Johnson for 3.
Eddie Johnson shoots the air ball.
That'll endear him to the Phoenix faithful. He played here, had some great years here. But now he's the enemy.
Kevin Johnson had Payton on his shoulder and just let him ride him all the way down there and hit the lay-in. Tied at 36. Perkins couldn't handle the ball. Out front, nice patch to Ceballos. He was grabbed from behind.
In the penalty.
Bob, I want to talk to you about the importance of perimeter shooting for Seattle. All right, Ricky Pierce has been hot in this game. He's going to come off the screen. We're going to roll it forward, and he's going to come off the screen. And if we stop it and we roll it back just keep a little bit further forward, hold it right there. Now look at the spacing you've got to work with because you now must cover this guy out here. As a result of that, look at the post position Perkins gets. There's no one to help. Great spacing, and he gets the shot. That's why you must be able to make shots so people will play you to the three-point line. You now have passing lanes, and your big people can get involved in the game.
That foul was on Sam Perkins. Ceballos misses from the line. Ceballos playing with a sore foot. Former NBA slam dunk champion. You look at free throw shooting tonight. Not quite up to snuff.
The scary thing, though, Phoenix has been to the line now 21 times already. We have 4:53 in the second period. I don't think Seattle can win this game if Phoenix shoots 40-plus free throws here in America West Arena.
And they're on a pace to do just that.
Same play again. Perkins on the post-up with Miller.
Perkins this time down to the baseline and has it blocked by Miller. Perkins is going to take it right back. This time gets those long arms up high, but misses the shot. Barkley stripped away. Ceballos picks up the loose ball and scores. Ricky Pierce shooting it short.
Ricky Pierce.
Boy, Ricky Pierce is hungry tonight to score. He's looking for his opportunities every time down the floor. Missed the jumper, followed it nicely at the offensive score.
He has 17 points. Payton called for the foul. And that will be number 3 on Payton. Vincent Askew checking in for the Sonics. Dana Barros also coming in for Seattle. They're certainly using their allotment of fouls in this ball game. 4 minutes to go in the first half. Suns by 1. Kevin Johnson at the line. He misses from the line. And Ainge gets in for Sabonis.
In the regular season, the Suns shot over 75% from the line. In the playoffs, they're down to about 72.5%, so their free throw shooting is down. Their field goal shooting is down. Phoenix is now 4 of 10 in this quarter at the line after being 11 of 13, so the misses are hurting them, although they are getting there. They're not cashing in on those chances.
Dana Barros from just inside three-point line. He's a good perimeter shooter. Sonics by 1. Miller setting the screen for the pick and roll. The lob down low to Oliver. Back out to Marley. For the drive, Dan Marley.
To the threat of Marley shooting the three, Perkins runs it in, and then he puts it right on the floor, right through the heart of the defense.
Seesaw game at this point. Two changing hands on each possession. Pierce drives and kicks.
Oh!
Merrill says he was, or Cage says he was pushed, but no whistle. Barkley back very quickly. Looked like Marley got pushed, and they're going to have 2-shot foul for Dan. And a technical foul on George Carl. Perkins got the personal foul.
A technical foul has been assessed to Seattle head coach George Carl.
I think what they're upset about, they think that Marley rode up on the back of Perkins for this tip. Watch now. They feel like that he was the one that was pushing off on Perkins. Sam did have his right arm down low and pulled him down at the end, but they thought that Marley went up the back of Perkins. That's why they were upset. Also, they're not happy that Phoenix is shooting so many free throws. George Karl trying to get the attention of the officials right now, and he does so by getting the technical foul.
And now Marley will shoot the personal foul free throws that were called on Sam Perkins. 3:07 to go in the half, and the Suns have built a 2-point lead and a chance to make it 4 from the free throw line, which is appropriate in this first half. It's been a free throw shooting contest.
Seattle's done a much better job tonight. They only have 5 turnovers, but they've only forced 3 turnovers, so their pressure defense really is not working in terms of creating turnovers, but they are forcing Phoenix to miss some shots. The one big thing is with all the pressure, they're doing a lot of fouling. Now, will that take its toll late in the ball game? They have a lot of guys in early foul trouble here. We see right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys with 3 fouls on the Sonics already, and we still have 3 minutes and 7 seconds to go in the first half.
Miller gets the miss from Harley and turns that into a 4-point play the hard way. With a technical, a missed free throw, and a field goal.
At some point, Oliver Miller is going to gain some respect here. I think that Seattle's really going to have to play him and not let him get those easy scores. There's an illegal defense on Phoenix.
Illegal defense warning charged against the Suns.
Timeout on the floor. 2:49 to go in the first half. Suns have built a 5-point lead.
Timeout, Suns.
5, but Seattle's been able to get a little bit more effective for scoring here in the second quarter.
They're freeing Ricky Pierce up quickly, and I'll show you what they're doing. The ball's going to him in the outlet, and this is going to be Perkins. He's going to go down the floor, and he's going to get into a quick screen. They're going to run screen roll, and Oliver Miller is not showing up on the screen, so they're going to a quick transition screen roll. Ricky Pierce is going to get quick jump. See where Miller is? He's hanging back. Pierce misses a shot. He follows it and gets a score. And you see Eddie Johnson protecting the back court there, making sure that no one can get an easy retaliation basket.
Down low to Perkins. Left-hand hook doesn't go. Oliver Miller with a rebound. Behind the back to Kevin Johnson. He's an entertaining player. To Charles Barkley. Rims it out. Charles has not scored in this quarter after getting 9 points in the first. Marley called for the push.
Loose ball foul on number 9, Dan Marley. His second team foul.
That's the 4th team foul with 2:26. Seattle's been in the penalty for about an hour. They went in the penalty with just over 7 minutes.
Yeah, it was like, I think 7:11 or somewhere around that point in time, 7:15.
Barros with the drive and the kick to Michael Cage. Not his shot. Barkley with the rebound. Kevin Johnson cherry picking.
That's got to drive George Karl crazy. I know I talked to him before the game about the Suns guards releasing. KJ releases, no one covers back.
Pierce gets it to rattle in. He has 19 points.
They're involving Oliver Miller in pick and roll, and Oliver is staying back. He's not showing up. Ricky Pierce is a great shooter. You must show up big on him and force him to give it up.
Danny Ainge for three. Down in. Danny Ainge gives the Suns an 8-point lead with 1:37 to go in the half. Down to Perkins again. No double team. He'll just take it in and lean in. No. Miller doing an excellent defensive job and doing a great job on the boards. Barkley quickly to Marley. The biggest lead of the game. 10-point lead for Phoenix. 22nd timeout is going to be called by George Karl. Got some excitement in the building. Barkley with a nice pass to Marley. Phoenix on that run in the last 2.5 minutes in the quarter. Dan Marley has 9 points. Coming up at halftime, the Reebok halftime report. Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studios. Recap of that bruising Eastern Conference battle between the Bulls and the Knicks. Also, Paul Ryden takes a look at the NBA's fragile coaching fraternity. Now, what could he possibly mean by that?
That's kind, fragile.
No kidding. You've got to have some constitution to be in that game. Lean in by Vincent Askew. Kevin Johnson with a pass that missed Miller. Ainge came up with it, but Cage back to Barros. Hard off the glass. Askew is there to put it back. 2 quick baskets by Askew, and he's pulled the Sonics to within 6 with 40 seconds to go in the half. Ainge to Miller.
How about Oliver Miller? He's got great footwork around the basket. He gets his position. He's got those long arms. I think they're really underestimating this young guy. He can score around the basket. He's having his way in there against the Seattle front line.
10 seconds on the shot clock, 20 seconds in the half. Ricky Pierce, a spinning, scooping shot. He drew the foul.
The foul was earlier on KJ. You could not hear Ronnie Nunn's whistle, so Barros will shoot the free throw. I think they let the clock go about 3 more seconds. There's the foul. No one hears it. KJ does.
Kevin's talking to you right now. He wants to know what the replay is. Kevin Johnson has walked over to our table.
He wants to know if that was a foul.
Kevin, our contract prohibits us from telling you such things. Sorry, but we'll have our lawyers call you after the game. Kevin Johnson called for the foul. Barros will go to the line. That's funny. He appealed to the higher court, which is Doug Collins, Judge Collins.
And I tightrope the fence real nicely. I don't know, KJ.
Oh, my. Dana Barros at the line. So the official ruling will be that Judge Collins upheld the Nunn ruling.
Yeah, I
will be the official answer.
I would say that's a good call.
Scheffler is into the ball game now for the final 14 seconds.
See now, Seattle needs to stop right now. If they get this down to 6 points, which they do, they'd cut a 10-point lead to 6 in about the last minute and a half. They're right in the game. They do not want to give up a quick 2 or a 3-point shot to give Phoenix a high going in here at halftime. See Marley spotting for 3. This is deadly if that goes.
Scheffler tips it away. The score, 54-48. The Phoenix Suns, Dan Marley had 9 in the second quarter. 7 rebounds, even more importantly, and the Suns lead at the half.
Halfway home in America West, Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals, and the Suns lead the Sonics by a half dozen. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta with the Reebok halftime report. All quiet on the Eastern Front tonight. The Bulls and Knicks off until Saturday, resting up from what has become an increasingly physical Eastern Conference Final. The Knicks with a 2-0 lead. We get the good, the bad, and the ugly of Game 2 from Craig Sager.
Tuesday night's win was not assured for the Knicks until a Jordan-esque dunk by John Starks put a thunderous exclamation point on a series that has been characterized by a grueling, bruising battle on the boards.
Last year, Chicago did a great job in controlling the boards on us throughout that series. This year, we want to make more of a concerted effort to, dominate the boards, and our big guys is doing one heck of a job.
Last game was me. I was very big on the board, myself and Charles Oakley, but tonight was Charles Oakley and the rest of the guys.
Oak is the man. He's the cornerstone of our defense as a power forward and as a help guy. And, he gets all the big rebounds. He's constantly working on the offensive board. And he's been an incredible leader for us.
For Chicago, their trip to New York was not exactly a day in the park. And as the series switches to the second city, the Bulls have plenty to think about before Game 3 this weekend. They are angry with themselves. They are angry with the officials. But most of all, they are angry with what the Knicks did to them in New York.
They're letting them play their style of game, and we're not getting to play our style of game. We don't feel like we're getting a lot of the calls. And, it's kind of frustrating out there when you're trying to play through something and things are still not happening the way you would like for them to.
Well, we play to their style, which is kind of, usually a big problem when you play their style. They're good at their style. Physically, they know how to bang you, whatever, but they're home and they're playing extremely well.
We just have to change the style of play. We can't play this roughhouse basketball. They're stronger than we are, and if they can get away with throwing people and bodies around, they're going to win the game. But on our court, they're not going to be able to do that, and that changes things up because, they're just manhandling Pippen and Grant, and, on our court, they'll notice that kind of stuff, and it'll change the style that they can play at. Then we're going to have to take the advantage of what we do well. That's pass the ball and move.
Let's check out the numbers from this series so far. The Bulls not shooting the ball well, not rebounding the ball well, and when that happens, you don't score well either. Averaging 100 points in the first 2 rounds, 91 in 2 games against the Knicks. And when the Reebok halftime report continues, one of the harsh realities of coaching, the pink slip, and what comes after. Sonics and the Suns at the break in Phoenix as the Reebok halftime report rolls on. Since the regular season ended about a month ago, there have been changes in the coaching ranks in 5 cities. 4 vacancies remain, and there seems little doubt that 2 of those jobs will go to the coaches who recently resigned, Larry Brown and Lenny Wilkins. Their names went immediately to the top of teams' short lists when they became available. That's not always the way it works, though. For some coaches, the fear is that fired means forgotten. Here's Paul Ryden.
2 years ago, Dallas head coach Richie Adubato watched the NBA draft lottery at home and used his infant son Adam as a good luck charm.
Got his lucky shirt on.
But Dad's luck went bad. 20 months later, depleted by injuries and free agency, the Mavs were spiraling towards one of the worst records in NBA history, and Adubato was fired. Now, some 4.5 months later, he's come here to Florida on vacation. Drove here from Dallas with his wife and now 2-year-old son. And what's the first vacation activity you think they have planned?
Welcome to the NBA Draft Lottery.
He loves this game. Still.
The Dallas Mavericks.
The Dallas Mavericks could not got 4th again. Unbelievable. Well, I can't honestly tell you that I was hoping they'd get the #1 pick.
Then he'll tell you that even at number 4, Dallas might be okay. Richie Adubato knows his stuff. If there's a game on, he's watching it, studying players and strategy and preparing for eventual re-entry.
He's addicted to it. Luckily, I enjoy it, and I think most of the wives in the NBA are the same way because you couldn't survive because the men are so immersed in it.
But life is not all basketball and box scores.
Watch. Okay, here we go.
I'm almost timing it.
I've been playing with my little son, Adam, for the most part. He's been a lifesaver to me. #1, he still thinks I'm undefeated. I can go in the room at any time, and he's very happy to see me, and we can play our games, and, he's been terrific. No.
Now if he could just chase down a job. Adubato sees the trend of hiring former players as head coaches, and while he doesn't necessarily agree with it, he is quite willing to take an assistant's job.
The assistant coaching job in the NBA is probably the best job in the country. It's just 12 players, you and the head coach, and you feel like you're a big part. But on the other hand, the next day, the media is not jumping all over you for making one mistake or not giving the ball to this guy or making the wrong substitute or, you know, not doing the right thing under pressure. Make a steal, it's a dunk, because they're such great athletes.
Grant, all exceptional athletes get into those passing lanes.
Mike Vitello say that, then I just say Mike. I work with Mike and Yubi so long, I know what they're going to say before they say it.
Basketball is just about all Richie's known, and all his friends in the coaching fraternity have known. And where would he be without them?
In the NBA, nobody looks down their nose at anybody. Everybody's had great teams and been involved with success, and they've all been fired for the most part. There are a couple of guys that are lucky that haven't been fired, but for the most part, it's a little different than college. From the Cotton Fitzsimmons to the Yubi Browns to the Mike Vitellos to myself to Bobby Hill to everybody else, we've been on top and we've been on the bottom, so we know what it feels like, and we know that lonesome feeling when you get fired.
Some real insight into the way an NBA head coach throws himself totally into his work, never able to totally tear himself away from the game, even when his services are no longer needed. And you heard Richie Adubato talk about landing an assistant's job. He certainly wouldn't be the first. There were 11 assistants in the league this year who at one time were head coaches in the NBA. And we'll be right back. And Don Nelson of the Golden State Warriors is going to be named the head coach of the U.S. World Team for 1994. Significant because really that's the second coming of the Dream Team. They will assemble for the World Championships in 1994 in Toronto. Still haven't decided really if it's going to, how many NBA players, how many collegians will be on there. We do know Don Nelson is going to be named the coach of that team tomorrow. Coming right up, it is the second half. Phoenix and Seattle, the Suns with a 54-48 lead. We'll send you back to Bob and Doug after this.
The Reebok Halftime Report has been brought to you by Reebok, who reminds you that on Planet Reebok, there are no limits.
Bob Neal, Doug Collins with you. Phoenix by 6 at halftime. Neither team shooting all that well. 46% for Phoenix, 43% for Seattle, but Phoenix is ahead in this game because they're out rebounding the Sonics and they're out free throw shooting them. You said at the beginning of the game that one of two guys had to step up, hopefully both of them, for the Sonics to play well. Johnson and Pierce. Pierce has really stepped up.
He shot 8 for 10, 19 points, very active. They're doing a lot of screening for him, coming off screens, getting the quick shot. Eddie Johnson has not shot well, but he has 7, so in game 1 they combined for 10. Tonight 26, and they're right in the ball game.
So let's have a look at the halftime statistics. That free throw story. The Suns have shot twice as many attempts as the Sonics, but only made 7 more free throws and out-rebounding them 24-19.
Well, what free throws also do, it stops the flow of the game. And if you're Seattle, you want to get the game going up and down. Get it a ragged game, maybe get them throwing the ball away. Phoenix only had 5 turnovers in the first half. And let's talk about Phoenix's three-point shooting here. You're going to see Marley come into the low post and receive the pass. And when he does, we're going to stop it right there. There's going to be an instinctive double team. Well, this is going to keep Barrows. He's got to take this first pass, whichever man it goes to. He doesn't get to to Danny Ainge, and Ainge buries the 3. So they had 3 3-point shots for 9 points. They made 7 more free throws, and they out-rebounded by 5 with only 5 turnovers and still are only up 6 points. So for Seattle, a strong push here in the second half. You can steal this ball game.
That's the good news for Seattle. The bad news is they only trail by 4 in game 1 and then really hit the roller coaster going south in the second half. Maybe because they were tired coming off the Houston series. Let's see how the Sonics play it here in the second half. They have 5 players who are carrying 3 fouls. Marley, Barkley, and Kevin Johnson leading Phoenix in scoring. Marley with 13. He had 9 in the second quarter. Charles did not score in the second quarter. With no points, did get 3 rebounds.
Charles only shot 2 for 8, but more importantly, you look at Seattle's inside guys. Sean Kemp 2 for 2, but McKee and Perkins a combined 1 for 10.
10 to shoot for the Sonics. Down to McKee. Now 6. Perkins open for 3. Run down by McKee. Kemp all alone. But Pierce misses the shot. Perkins keeps it alive. Ricky Pierce buries the 3.
Oliver Miller has started the second half at center. He was playing very well in the first half. 6 points, 3 of 3 field goals, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks in 12 minutes. Also Chambers. Parker. Miller. Run down by Payton. Perkins gets this one. It doesn't go either. Perkins has been shooting right around the edge of that rim and unable to get it to go down.
Well, again, in game one, he was 3 for 11. The only shots he hit were 3 threes. Tonight now, that's about 1 for 10. So I guess 1 for 9 officially for Sam Perkins. So he's gotten some easy shots and just has not been able to finish them.
Perkins called for the foul there, and Kevin Johnson will go to the line. In 20 minutes of the first half, Kevin Johnson had 7 points and uncharacteristically only 1 assist. He was averaging 9+ in the playoffs coming into the game.
Well, you can see, though, that the Sonics really trying to limit the penetration. We talked to George Karl before game one. We asked him, what are the keys when you play against Phoenix? And he talked about the defensive Barkley and the transition defense, and he said, KJ penetrating down the lane. We must prevent him from getting inside our defense because then he drops off the people and you get dunks from the front line. So they have done a pretty good job of keeping KJ out of the middle of the lane.
And Johnson misses both of the free throws. And for the game now, Phoenix is 17 of 28.
KJ's 3 for 7.
There's that tight spacing for Seattle and no place to pass it. He has to shoot it.
Offensive rebounding, though, is keeping the Sonics in it from the standpoint of they're getting extra shots. That's a tough shot for Perkins. You're 1 for 9. You shoot a spinning, fading jump shot on the baseline, but 1 point lead now for the Suns. The offensive rebounding has been very strong for the Sonics to start this third quarter.
Kevin Johnson tried to hit Miller out of bounds. Sonics ball. Sonics trying to get back quickly.
Here's a quick screen roll. See, Miller's not showing up, and Ricky Pierce has been able to turn the corner.
Doesn't get the bounce. Gets the ball on the rebound, though, but first the loose ball foul, and it's going to be on Seattle.
Loose ball foul on number 22.
It's on Ricky Pierce. That's his third. So now 6 Sonic players have 3 personal fouls. This could add up to some significant trouble here in the second half.
See Gary Payton just shadowing Kevin Johnson, trying not to let him catch the ball.
That's the 3rd team foul on Seattle. That was on Derek McKee.
So, Bob, let me show you something. Here's Ricky Pierce coming off the screen. This is Oliver Miller. He's got to hold him up. Watch what happens. See, he lets him go right down the lane. This is where Ricky Pierce has been very active. He does not get this shot. But Ricky Pierce coming off screens is getting a lot of good shots, and they're involving Oliver Miller in the play.
And Marley is now 3 of 7 from the line, and Phoenix is 17 of 29. Normally, free throw statistics are not so oftenly mentioned in a game, but they have been the story of this one. Marley came out at halftime early from the locker room to practice free throw shooting.
Now here's a guy who really drains the three-point shots and just does not have any rhythm at all at the free throw line. Should they go to Ricky Pierce? Looks like they're going to try to run him off a double screen on this weak side.
Foul is down on the baseline. Holding. It's on Doug Chambers up here at the three-point line. That's his first.
Trying to run a possession to free Ricky Pierce off a double screen. The Suns read it well. Chambers did pick up the foul, but they're really looking to go to Pierce coming off screens. Here he comes again, once again off the screen.
Derek McKee to Kemp. Jump ball.
Bob, I know I've said this a lot, but no one will shoot the outside shot. McKee passes one up, kicks it back to Kemp. He passes it up, puts it on the floor, jump ball. You've got to take the jump shot, regardless of whether or not you miss a few of them. You must have the defense respect you. All the players from Phoenix are in the paint.
Kemp should easily win that jump ball and does. Sam Perkins hits the three.
Well, Sam's heated up now after 1 for 9. He hits a tough baseline shot, then the three. So now 5 quick points by Perkins. And quietly, the Sonics have taken a 1-point lead.
Oliver Miller throws it out of bounds.
Did someone get a piece of it? Yes, it'll be Suns ball.
I wonder what Paul Westfall's reasoning for starting Oliver Miller was in the second half, other than the fact maybe he was playing well, wanted him matched up against certain people, but Oliver is struggling in the third quarter. He has one turnover, missed a layup, and got away with a bad pass.
Barkley gets it to Miller, who lays it in on a nice pass from Charles Barkley.
Maybe that's why.
Phoenix leads by 1. Kemp defended by Barkley. They clear the side for it. Pierce can't get the shot away. 10 to shoot for the Sonics.
Now watch Perkins sliding out to 3.
Rebound Barkley actually taken away by Tom Chambers.
This is the most aggressive I've seen Sam Perkins shooting the basketball. He's got about 15 shot attempts already. Normally a very quiet guy, unassuming when it comes to the offensive end. You don't expect him to be that guy that looks for a lot of shots.
Chambers tried to pass it to Barkley out of bounds. Suns ball, 5 on the shot clock. Phoenix leading it by 1, 7:57 to go in the third quarter. From America West Arena in Phoenix, Game 2, Western Conference Finals. Oliver Miller lost the handle with 1 on the shot clock. They put it back in. Charles gets his first scoop of the half.
Now
Barkley with 11 points.
Is that an assist?
Yeah. Derek McKee dribbles it off his foot. Suns ball.
Now Derek McKee's having a miserable night. 0 for 3 in the first half with 3 fouls. There's the turnover. He just cannot get anything going. Let's see if George Karl will go to his bench or if he'll stay with Derek McKee.
Suns lead it by 3. Johnson cutting hard to the hoop, got the ball from Chambers to Barkley, who was knocked down. Back to Chambers, has it blocked. And Marley got it in before the shot clock wound down. Amazing possession by Phoenix.
Here's where Ricky Pierce is getting all the shots, though he's getting out quickly. How many times have we seen that tonight where they're not doing a good job covering him and that sort of a quick hitting offense that Seattle's run to get him some shots?
Now Marley on the drive.
This is good one here, Marley.
And the foul.
Marley with the nice drive baseline. He's going to use his left hand. They've called the blocking foul on Sam Perkins, which is his 4th. Marley with the opportunity now to increase the lead to 6.
Dan Marley with 18 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, having a whale of a game and a 5-point lead for Phoenix with 6:51 to go in the third quarter, and Marley steps to the free throw line. That foul was on Perkins. He has 4, so does McKee, and 4 other Seattle players with 3 personal fouls. Make it 19 for Marley.
Barkley just buried Gary Payton. Payton came over to set a screen, and Barkley said, "You will not screen me. I'm not going to be screened by a guard." Made no attempt and just bowled him over. Watch this right here. Payton's going to cut through the lane, and watch Barkley right there just blasting through the ground.
That's the first on Charles Barkley. Ricky Pierce to the hoop. He draws the foul.
Ricky Pierce is doing his job tonight, Bob. He's really looking to come out. That's 24 points now, shooting 10 for 14 in the game.
But 2 on Chambers, excuse me.
But he's the only guy in double figures for Seattle. The starting front line, McKee and Kim, have combined for only 4 points.
You were talking about Kemp and McKee. Here's what they've done tonight.
Well, normally they give you about 25 points a game. Tonight, only 4. This has sort of been the nightmare for Seattle on the road. They average 102 points a game at home during the playoffs. Shoot the ball very well on the road. They average 88 points. And that's the inconsistency of really a young team, other than the experience of Ricky Pierce and Eddie Johnson. You don't have a lot of playoff grizzled veterans on this Seattle team.
McMillan in the game for Seattle. And Ceballos has checked in for Phoenix Suns. 4-point Phoenix lead. 6:13 to go in the third quarter. 5 seconds to shoot. Blocked by Sean Kemp with 3 on the shot clock. Kemp has 3 blocked shots tonight. Not many points, but he does have that. Into Marley. And the tip in by Ceballos.
The guy's Mr. Opportunity. It seems like he's always around the ball.
That's his game, really.
It really is. I mean, he's a guy that you don't pay much attention to. Pretty soon he's got 15, 16 points.
Kemp with a turnaround jumper. Barkley, Perkins, and McMillan with the double team. Pierce with the near steal. Back to Barkley. 8 on the shot clock. Charles holding the ball, looking for an opportunity. An opportunity to shoot it. Over Sam Perkins. Charles has 13 points. Trying to post up Kemp where it's tight down on that inside defense. Perkins will pull up and shoot it. Payton stole that one and then missed the layup.
Boy, Gary Payton tried to shoot that ball so quickly.
Barkley misses the 3. Perkins with a rebound.
Payton really had an easy shot. He made it difficult by trying to shoot it so quickly. It looked like he was afraid he was going to get his shot blocked. No one was even there.
McMillan was looking for Kemp. Kemp didn't make the move all the way out. And it's 68-62 Phoenix ball. Let's look at tonight's GMC scoreboard. Game from last night. A bruising battle between the Knicks and the Chicago Bulls. Bulls with a frenzied comeback, but it fell short, and the Knicks take a 2-0 lead. Doug Collins, former player from Chicago, Charles Oakley playing very big in that game.
Yes, he is. He had a tremendous game. Horace Grant really struggling with his ankle, and 2 points, 2 rebounds. I'm sure Chicago can use some time off to try to get some guys healthy before Saturday.
Barkley's basket builds an 8-point lead, and George Karl gets a timeout for the Seattle SuperSonics. 4:19 to go in the third quarter from America West Arena in Phoenix. Rolling by 14, they lead by 8 here in Game 2, and we'll have Game 3 on TNT for you from Seattle Friday night at 9 Eastern Time. Gary Bender and Doug will have that for you from Seattle, Washington. And Seattle has been explosive when they get that home crowd.
It's a very, very difficult place to play. Seattle Coliseum, very noisy. Fans right on top of you. I'm sure that Seattle would love to do something to steal this game because they feel they're almost invincible at home.
Kemp just draws a lot of shirts when they get him the ball, and there's a Sonics turnover, their 8th of this ball game, trailing by 8 with 4:09 to go in the quarter.
You expect the Phoenix team to be the one to turn the ball over against the Seattle trap. That really has not been the case. Sonics a little careless the last couple possessions with the ball.
As you said, the Phoenix defense is underrated. There's good defensive play by Seattle. McMillan gets it to Payton. Michael Cage left all alone.
So you just don't want to shoot the outside shot. That's not Cage's game. Payton doesn't want to shoot it. Now this guy does. He'll drain it.
Kemp with the offensive board and the putback. Sean Kemp, and that's really his best game. Pierce with the deflection on the intended pass to Miller, and I feel like I'm doing this in October on a football field somewhere. 70-64, Phoenix, 3:35. First time I met Doug Collins in 82 or 3. I was here to do an Arizona
That's
State.
That's right, you were.
You were an assistant coach with Arizona State.
Over at Tempe, Sun Devil Stadium.
There you were with Henry Bibby.
That's right, Gar Hurd. Bob Weinauer was the head coach. Had a good time.
Barkley backing in on Cage, double team, and the bullet pass. And Kemp get that, so it'll be his 4th block. Here is Payton. He missed it again. Saved by McMillan. Nice play.
Well, Gary Payton just cannot make a shot. He's having a nightmare night.
Cage runs it down. Kemp's going to take it in closer. The finger roll for Sean Kemp, and Sean Kemp has 10 points.
He's coming alive. Now they need to get McGee involved in the game. It's back down to a 4-point game, so Phoenix just cannot put this pesky Sonic team away.
Peyton's going to need therapy if he keeps missing those short shots, you know? 8 to shoot. Barkley over the double team. No problem for Charles over Michael Cage. He has 17. McMillan had it blocked by Oliver Miller. .2:14 to go in the quarter. Bad pass from Kevin Johnson. Was that tipped by Seattle? Yes. It'll belong to Phoenix. Almost stolen. Mark West makes an appearance for the first time since early in this game.
Number 41, Mark West, and 22, Danny Ainge.
Danny Ainge also scored from the floor.
Got to get a quick shot, 9 seconds, so try not to let KJ get the basketball, make Ainge create the shot rather than Kevin Johnson.
5 to shoot. Kevin is called for the offensive foul. He hooked Peyton on the drive. That was right in front of us, and that was a subtle hook, but nevertheless.
Watch the left arm as he starts to go around. Right there, that's the hook. That's a good call. Advantage that you cannot get.
It looks like a Texas two-step. Peyton on the drive. That's what he needs, is somebody in his face.
I was going to say that's the toughest shot he's had all night, and he finally makes one.
4-point Phoenix lead. Peyton is only 2 of 8 tonight. Kevin Johnson open on the baseline. Boy, Kevin Johnson always thinks penetration. That's a 3-second violation against Phoenix.
The problem with that is his teammates expected him to shoot the outside jump shot, so they went to the basket. They were in the lane, and the minute KJ put it on the floor, it was a 3-second violation on Mark West. So when the shot's there, sometimes you've got to take it. Going to an open set here, just to break down on the dribble, try to create an open shot.
Peyton hard to the hoop again, foul, and it goes. That's the answer to Peyton's problems. He needs somebody hammering him on each layup.
Well, you know what's happened? When he's had open shots, he's thought about it. This is an instinctive play. Look, he just takes quick release, 2 plays in a row where instinctively he just made the play rather than try to guide the ball in the basket. So if Gary Payton can now get going here, you've got Kemp who's come alive a little bit. You're having the big game by Ricky Pierce. So right now the Sonics are in good position, down only 2 with just a little over a minute left in the third quarter.
Ainge bullet pass into West, blocked by Kemp. That's 5 blocks. Peyton on the layup again, not this time, but he was fouled by Kevin Johnson. A chance for the Sonics to tie here with under a minute to go in the third quarter.
Again, the guy off the ball is the guy who blocks the shot. Mark West was worried about the defender who was playing him, and Kemp comes in from the blind side, and Gary Payton takes it end to end. And you see, anytime he has time to think about his shot, you see the frustration. He's talking to himself. He's walking away from the line. Take a deep breath, gather yourself, count on your rotation to shoot the ball. Shot it too quickly and missed them both. That's 3 straight misses. That would have given the Sonics a 1-point lead had he made his free throws there.
Kevin Johnson. 10 to shoot for Phoenix. All alone, Barkley. Charles has a good third quarter. 19 points in the game, 10 in the quarter. McMillan's pass stolen by Danny Ainge. He tried to lob it to Sean Kemp, and then Peyton comes back with the foul.
That's a tough foul. That's the 5th foul. Now you put Danny Ainge on the free throw line. Danny Ainge in the playoffs shooting 81%. He's going to spin right here. When he does, you're going to see a slap right in the face. There's where the foul is called. That's the 15th foul. So Danny Ainge at the line now shooting 2 to try to give the Suns a 6-point lead.
And that's 4 fouls
on Peyton. He'll go get a rest as Dana Barros comes in here for the final 26-9 of the third quarter. Peyton, an active player, an excellent athlete, certainly quick and has a lot of talent, but he is really struggling as a shooter.
He had a 2 for 15 night against Houston in Game 7. They were very fortunate to be able to win that game. And again, Game 1, he did not shoot poorly. He was 5 for 11, but most of them were going to the basket. He's really struggled when he's had to take the open jump shot, and now at the free throw line.
Ainge has built a 6-point lead for the Suns with a little over one possession left in the third quarter.
Now you've got two excellent three-point shooters in the game right now. You have Dana Barros and Eddie Johnson. See if they can free up either one of these guys in this quarter with a three-point shot.
7 to shoot. 2-second difference in the game clock. Michael Cage gets it to McMillan. He'll take it from long range. Miller runs it down. That's the end of the quarter. The Phoenix Suns lead it by 6. 76-70, 12 minutes to go. In game number 2, Western Conference Finals from America West Arena in Phoenix, Arizona. Ready for the final 12 minutes in this second game. Suns lead it by 6. In game 1, the Suns led it by 11 going into the final 12 minutes.
Well, I think interestingly enough, too, they led the first quarter tonight by 6 points. The rest of the quarters have been even, 30-30, 22-22. And this is what I was talking about, home and road. A 14-point differential, 4 percentage point shooting, and turnovers 15 more on the road. Seattle needs a strong fourth quarter here tonight to try to even this series at 1-1.
Within 6 points, they should be interested here. They know they don't have to fight against that double-digit deficit, but Barkley is the kind of guy who can close it out on you. Charlie knows how to do that. Don't tell him I said Charlie either.
Well, you saw him have big fourth quarters against San Antonio in games 5 and 6 when the games were on the line. Charles had big fourth periods, both in rebounding and scoring. So you have to be concerned right now if you're Seattle. One thing, you've got a quick foul here, so you're putting him to the line. And it looks like that he's going to be trying to carry this offense in the fourth period to see his mother.
After all, she's watched him play basketball since he was 8 years old in Leeds, Alabama, all the way through high school at Auburn, and she's still tense over a free throw. Only parents can understand
that. That is correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
That is correct.
Charles misses that one despite his mom's clenched fists. 7-point Phoenix lead. Barkley against Barros.
Millen's illegal. There's the three-point shooting. Well, they spaced the floor so nicely.
Marley has 22 points, and the Suns have a 10-point lead. Timeout. 11-14 to go in the ball game. Winning the battle of the forwards and barely leading the battle of the rebounds, Doug.
And the Suns leading the battle of the three-point shooting right now. We're going to show you what floor spacing means to your offense. Now, look at the spacing. Three-point line, three-point line. As the double team starts to occur, you're going to see Sean Kemp come across the floor. The minute he does that, we stop that. Here he comes. He can't get there soon enough. This man now must take first pass, and you've got three-point shooters. So it's pass, and bury the three-point shot. This is what I'm talking about, spacing the floor. Excellent opportunity for the Suns, and Marley buries the outside jump shot.
This matches Phoenix's biggest lead of the ball game. 10 points, 11 minutes to play. Dana Barros, the good outside shooter, also quick with a penetration. Tried to hit Kemp. It'll be off Phoenix. Sonics ball with 6 seconds on the shot clock. Pierce in as McMillan goes out of the ball. 6 to shoot. Now 5 to shoot as Charles knocks it out. Do that 4 more times and they won't have a chance for it.
That's right. They'll have to get the alley-oop, the .3 rule.
Now 2 seconds, now 1.
don't think Dana Barros had any idea how much time was left on the clock.
That's where scouting comes in. You say, why can't they get that shot off? Because you scout your opponent, you know what they'd like to do in that situation. You get out and you play the play. I saw Scotty Robertson up talking to the team, switch out, ran him right out of the play.
Bennett Salvatore toots the whistle and talks to Mike Mathis. I think he wanted to do something with the clock adjustment.
I think Sam Perkins is getting ready to come into the game. I would be very surprised if he did not come in for Michael Cage. And the reason I say that is because he's a better offensive player. And that would give you 5 guys on the floor who could score. That would be Perkins, Eddie Johnson, Ricky Pierce, Kemp, and Dana Barros. So let's see when Perkins comes in at the next dead ball if he gets Michael Cage.
The 24-second clock to our left is out. It is blank on the screen. The one on to our right is working, so they'll have to decide what they're going to do about that. There is a 24-second clock up. You look right in the middle of your screen. They have it up on the club level here at the corner, so they may just tell the players they'll have to go by that. There you see it up on the club level area. As it's out of the one that's right above the basket. Phoenix leading in this series, 1 game to none, won by 14 points on Monday night. Now they have a 10-point lead here with 10:46 to go. And game number 3 in this series comes up on Friday night from Seattle Coliseum. We'll have that for you on TNT. These two teams battling for the right to meet either Chicago or New York. I don't know if Charles wanted me to quote him on this or not. I think he means he'd like to see the Knicks.
Well, the feeling I got was that the respect that he has for Michael Jordan, he said, I don't know what Michael would do against us. But,
who wants to see Michael anyway?
We were sitting there last night watching the game when Starks got that dunk. I thought Charles was going to hit the roof. He exploded out of his seat on the great play by John Starks with the left-handed dunk to put New York up 5 late in that game. And such an explosive play that I think was able to carry them through to the finish.
We should have had a microphone in there last night. You and Charles Barkley analyzing that game together. And talk about a 3-man booth. All I had to do was chow down on the finger food. You guys had that one nailed.
You know what I really would like for people to know is Charles Barkley loves basketball. I mean, he's watching the hockey game over one shoulder. He's talking about who won the baseball games. He's analyzing the basketball game. This guy has a tremendous passion for this sport, and I think sometimes it's lost in some of the things he says. I don't think people realize how much this guy really loves to play.
Or how smart he is. Very smart.
Yes, he is.
Well, he's not so young anymore. He's up around when you get to the 3-0 area. I'm not going to call him a kid anymore. 80-70, Phoenix. Time back in. They're going to read the 24-second clock off of the club level balcony.
Now, they took that foul on purpose to get Perkins into the game. He's actually coming in for Sean Kemp.
That's 2 team fouls on Seattle.
Yeah, I'm surprised they would take that foul for that substitution because it puts you in jeopardy now to get back into that quick penalty that we've talked about that happened in the first 2 quarters at the 7-minute mark.
Exactly. This 10:36, they've committed 2 already now. But Perkins is in the game. Danny Ainge. This is the 3. Cage with a monster rebound. Perkins came into the game for Kemp, which is a little surprising. Pierce on the drive and the pull-up jumper for Ricky Pierce. His first points in the 4th quarter, and he has 28 in the game.
Anytime Danny Ainge comes into the game and plays Ricky Pierce, Ricky feels like he can score against him. Does not feel that Danny Ainge can chase him off his jump shot. So you see him driving the ball right to the scoring territory and just pulling up and shooting it.
Ainge splits the double team, makes the pass to Barkley. And Charles has 22.
Charles is shooting the outside shot very well tonight. That medium range 17, 18-foot shot.
Pierce once again penetrating the block by West. Cage back hard to the hoop. Nice play by Michael Cage. 8-point Phoenix lead, 9:29 to go in the game. Ronnie Nunn with an offensive foul call down on the baseline on Frank Johnson.
Frankie Johnson a little upset, feeling Dana Barros grabbed the holes of his jersey, gave him a little shove. It happened right in front of Ronnie Nunn, so Frank Johnson was called with a foul. again, Seattle hanging around in this game. It's only a 4-possession game right now. You still have over 9 minutes to go. So Seattle, if they can get something going here, have a chance to pull this game out.
Ray Johnson defending Barros down to Perkins, defended by Miller. He's had trouble with Miller. Miller fouls him this time.
Went to the hook shot that time. What he's been doing a lot of the game is leaning in and thinking that his long arms are going to outreach Oliver Miller's. Oliver Miller has got every bit as long of arms as Sam Perkins. He's got a lot of shot block tonight by just reaching out as Sam Perkins is trying to lean around him.
Well, they're interestingly very similar in a way. They're both about the same height, 6'9", 6'10" in that area, and both with long arms. And it's interesting. Miller, with his weight loss, causes me to be able to say that.
Yeah, well, I said that to Sam the other night. I said, Sam, Oliver Miller's arms are about as long as yours. He has the same body type. He says, Doug, I don't have that much body type.
He has more body type than I do. It's a 6-point Suns lead. 9:08 to go in the game. Phoenix has to feel good about this franchise. They do have veterans, but they got some strong young players, too. To shoot. Charles always knows where that clock is. With 1 on the shot clock, Barkley buries it.
A quick screen roll again. Pierce and Oliver Miller.
Perkins on the drive had to go through a minefield. See if everybody's all right in that pileup down there. Marley went down.
That's the first time I've ever seen a guy get a foul for falling down on the floor. Watch this now. Marley's going to come into the picture, and he gets the foul as he is being trampled and going to the basket.
That's another football play. The coach says, listen, quit hitting him around the shoulders. Get him down low.
He looked up and he said, how did I get that foul? He stepped on me.
Get the license plate of that truck. Perkins back to the free throw line. He's a good free throw shooter. It's an 8-point Suns lead. 8:30 to go in this ball game. They mop up the perspiration. And Perkins quietly building some points. He has 11. 7 boards. Despite his struggles from the floor tonight. Sam Perkins, who's been at Dallas, then L.A., now here with the Seattle SuperSonics.
The one thing has kept Seattle close, Bob, in this game is that Phoenix has missed 13 free throws. They're 22 of 35. That's now 16 for 22 for Seattle. So they're creeping back at the free throw line, but they have not nearly the attempt. So the 13 misses really big right now. Phoenix could have a double-digit lead.
Both teams with 2 team fouls with 8:16 to go. Ainge. Eddie Johnson with the rebound. Barkley almost stole that. He certainly leveled Eddie Johnson.
Ricky Pierce wants to post Ainge. Remember that matchup. He feels like he can score against Ainge.
Miller stepped in there, and they get it to Perkins, back to Pierce.
They don't want to switch Marley off Ricky Pierce. You want to keep Danny Ainge on Eddie Johnson because Ricky Pierce is too strong physically for Danny Ainge. Every time that matchup has occurred, they've gone right to it.
Johnson's defending Ainge. Ainge turns around, misses the perimeter shot. Cage tipped it in as he battled for the rebound.
Boy, that's
They'll give it to Marley.
That's tough. Instead of now ball down 4, you're now the ball down 6.
Pierce with the drive, but first the foul. Miller reached in. Miller has 3 personals.
Ainge misses this shot, and Michael Cage is going to tip the ball in right there for Phoenix. So instead of being down 4 with the ball, shooting 2 free throws, you're down 6. Those are the kind of plays that just knock you back on your heels.
Particularly in the fourth quarter. Derek McKee, who's had a nightmarish night, is about to come off the bench for Seattle.
Number 31, Derek McKee, returns to the Sonics lineup.
And Pierce now with 31 points, and they've added an additional shot clock in addition to the one around the club level balcony. They've placed one on the floor.
Looks like the 4 is missing.
That doesn't work either.
Number 22, Danny Ainge.
There you go. Look at the difference in shooting from the field for Ricky Pierce and the rest of the Sonics tonight. But this has happened before. Pierce is on this team just for that reason. Suns by 4. Cage defending Barkley.
Ceballos not an outside shooter. They don't have to play him out there at the 3 like they do Ainge.
Barkley gets everybody airborne with 3 on the shot clock, misses it. It's tipped out of bounds from behind the basket by Phoenix. Seattle ball.
With Ceballos in the game, you lose a little spacing because he's a cutter and a slasher. So Marley out there really the only perimeter shooter. Ceballos is going to post low, hang around the lane, as is Oliver Miller. Kevin Johnson not a deep shooter.
Kevin Johnson defending Barros. A lot of playing time for Barros tonight as Payton was struggling so much offensively. Perkins turnaround quick jump hook doesn't go, but Cage follows. Big play by Michael Cage.
They are back to within 2, Bob. 6:40 to go. This game is right there for either team.
The Phoenix euphoria would certainly take a big slip if they don't hold on and win this game. Marley, 4-3. Big bucket by Buster Dan.
You think that spacing doesn't mean something when you drive to the basket and that defense collapses and you've got a guy like Marley or Ainge that can shoot that shot. It changes the whole complexion of your defense.
27 for Marley, 24 for Barkley. They are leading the way offensively for the Phoenix Suns. Barros with a bad pass. He tried to get Perkins, who would have been open. Out ahead to Ceballos. Fouled hard by Ricky Pierce. And Ceballos is limping again. He was injured in the 3rd quarter last night. He has a stress injury to his right foot. Three builds the lead to 5 with 6:02 to go, Doug.
Well, let's talk about spacing. Now, Kevin Johnson's going to drive the ball in the lane, and we're going to stop it. And I want you to show me how many defenders now from Seattle are in the paint. I count 4. All right, that means that someone is open right out here, and guess who? Dan Marley, and he gives them a 5-point lead. The importance of spacing the defense and the 3-point shot as a weapon. Marley has 4 3-pointers in the game in the second half. He is 5 for 6 in the field with 14 points.
Ceballos goes to the line, so I guess his foot's all right. 89-84. I'm saying it isn't hurting him. He gets 2 free throws with 6:02 to go. Phoenix continues their nightmare of free throw shooting. It is what is helping keep Seattle in this, as Phoenix has missed 14 free throws tonight. 22 of 36. They're going to get 40. No doubt, attempts, and usually if a team will get that kind of free throw attempts, it's just nearly impossible to beat them.
Well, remember we talked in the first half, they get to the line 40-plus times. Unless you shoot an exorbitant percentage from the field, 55-60%, you can't beat a team on their home court.
I'll tell you what, too, Phoenix has been impressive in these first 2 games with their defense.
Yes, they have. And one of the things that's happened, Seattle scores a lot of points in 2 ways, off turnovers and on offensive rebounds. And if you think about it tonight, how many times has the Sonics got out and scored off a turnover? Or secondly, how many offensive rebounds have they scored against? So if you take away those 2 things, they struggle to get 90, 95 points.
And this kind of set is where Seattle usually struggles. Pierce kicks to Perkins, who is alone for the 3 attempt. He misses it. Payton kept it alive. Phoenix ball. Marley can't handle the pass.
See, that's a bad pass by Oliver Miller. No need to force that to Dan Marley. Now you give him another opportunity to score.
Down inside to Derek McKee. It was blocked by Cedric Ceballos. What a play by Ceballos. 13 on the shot clock. He's got great hands. 5:18 to go in this ball game. It's a 6-point Phoenix lead.
Derek McKee has still not scored in this game. He's now 0 for 5. So, they're right in the ball game with 6 points, and he has not scored. That's a major, major negative tonight for Seattle.
Ricky Pierce, the pull-up runner. That's a tough shot.
I love that shot. That little running 1-foot shot. I think that's such a tremendous weapon. I don't know why more players don't shoot that. You just can't really defend against that.
Maybe it's that hard.
Maybe it is. I always felt like it was shooting a long layup. You know, you're on the run and you just get your hand up, follow through to the target.
A little rhythm to it.
Yeah.
4-point Phoenix lead. 4:51 to go. Kevin Johnson with the runner in the lane, but first to foul. And it's on Payton, and that'll be his 5th. And the 4th team foul with 4:49 to go. Also 14 fouls on the Suns, so the next time either team commits a foul, they'll be shooting it no matter what the situation is. Kevin Johnson has been really struggling from the free throw line tonight. He goes back there again, and he is only 3 of 7.
I'm trying to see what he's doing on his free throw. I don't know if his release is too quick. He comes off the dribble and his eyes are not on the target. He's looking down. I always felt like you needed to get eye contact with that rim so you know where you want to shoot it, but his eyes are down. So when you watch him, he's dribbling the basketball. His eyes go down. See, his eyes are down. His eyes are not on the target, and the first time he's going to see it is right when he comes up off the dribble. He never really gets a good look at the basket.
Good point. Excellent point. B.B. Brown was talking in an earlier game about sometimes players will block their own vision with the ball, too. You do both of those, and you really got vision problems.
The great free throw shooters very seldom ever lose contact with the rim. Eye contact, that is.
Payton, pull up from 14, finally gets a perimeter shot to go down. It's a 3-point Phoenix game, and throughout, Doug, it has seemed as though Phoenix has been leading by double digits.
I agree. It seems like they're in total command of this game, and they're only up 3. That's why Seattle's in a tremendous position here to get a steal on the road and even this series up.
And then Johnson penetrates, kicks to Marley. Back to Johnson from 17.
Dribble penetration. Get into the gaps. Force 2 people to play you. Kick out, take the open shot. It's simple basketball.
5-point Phoenix lead. Under 4 minutes to go in the game.
They want to double team Ricky Pierce. Kevin slow getting there, and as a result, Pierce is going to get the shot.
And the tip in by Derek McKee. That's his first basket, and Kemp made a great play to block that. Did he get his hands in the face, however, of the receiver?
Yes, he did, and after that basket was made, Paul Westphal was standing on the bench calling timeout. Oliver Miller did not look, and it cost his team a turnover. That's that spectacular play that he tries to make that wasn't there.
Suns by 3, and an unfortunate break here with the rookie Oliver Miller not seeing Paul Westphal.
Derek McKee's first 2 points of the game. As he steps out of bounds, we're going to watch Paul Westphal. He's got his hands over his head right here, calling for a timeout. Oliver Miller never looks, tries to throw the long pass. Kemp gets back, it goes off his hands, off Sabalos' foot, out of bounds, and it goes back to the SuperSonics.
Suns by 3, 3:38 remaining. Payton open from 18. Air ball, Oliver Miller comes away with it.
Looked like Kevin Johnson maybe got a piece of that shot.
Maybe he did. Tom Chambers on the floor for Phoenix.
Guess who they're going to go the ball to right now? Charles Barkley is going to read the double team if they leave. Look out for Marley.
There it comes. There's Marley, 3 to shoot. He has to drive and shoot. Tough shot on the run by Thunder Dan Marley with 29 points in the game.
Well, he's made all kinds of shots like that tonight.
McKee calls for the offensive foul. Whoop.
Now will the shot go? Now they've called blocking. Does the basket count?
Hold it for just a moment here. Let's get the call right. It's on Chambers. And it looked like it was at the time the shot was made. That puts him in the penalty.
All right, there's the foul. If he put it on the floor one more time, the answer is no. I think he should have gotten continuation here. If that's a foul, then he should have gotten the continuation. This should be a 3-point play opportunity because the ball never went back to the deck. He was in the continuation to the shot.
But Derek McKee misses the free throw. He is 2 points tonight. He's 1 for 6. From the field, 0 for 1 from the free throw line. Gets that one, and it's a 4-point game. He dipped that shoulder. Could have been called for the offensive foul, too. Kevin Johnson slipping and turning it over. That foul is on Payton, and that's going to be number 6.
Very difficult to try to trap Kevin Johnson. He's so elusive with the basketball. The foul occurred before you saw the contact with Derek McKee, the reach in on Gary Payton. So Dana Barros now will be called upon for the last 2:52. He gives them a better perimeter shooter, but they lose something defensively because he does not have the size of a Payton. So see if his offense will overcome his defensive deficiencies.
Dana Barros is only 5'11". He may not be that tall, and Kevin Johnson stretches higher than he does off the floor. 2:52 to go. It is a 5-point Phoenix lead. Make it 6.
I think you're going to see some kind of two-man game involving Ricky Pierce and Derek McKee on this side of the floor.
Chambers guarding McKee. Only one field goal for him tonight. Sean Kemp. Barros.
And you got to guard him at the three-point line. Barros has great range.
5 seconds to shoot. Kemp. Over Chambers. Kemp with the rebound. Off the miss by McKee. McKee's really struggling, and Kemp has been a big man on the board tonight. Marley called for the foul.
You could see the matchup they were going to. They were going McKee against Chambers. They feel like that they can attack Chambers defensively. Paul Westphal talking to Tom Chambers now about what he wants him to do with McKee. But one thing that's keeping Seattle alive is they have been more aggressive on the offensive board. I know of 3 second-shot scores now, either getting to the free throw line or putbacks that has kept them within 5 points.
George Karl gets Nate McMillan in the game in place of Dana Barros. McMillan, a good defensive player and definitely bigger.
You might see a lot of offensive defensive substitutions now in the last 2 minutes. On any dead ball, Barros coming in for offense, McMillan for defense.
Chambers was open in the corner. They couldn't get him the ball.
Interesting lineup now. Miller, Chambers, Barkley. Pretty big front line.
7 to shoot. Barkley, the pull-up jumper.
Tough shot.
McMillan runs it down, trailing by 4 with 2:05 to go. The Sonics right in the thick of this game, hoping to steal one at America West. The 3 goes down. It's a 1-point game.
So you've got to get out. Oliver Miller's got to respect Sam Perkins' three-point shooting. Coming into tonight's game, Sam Perkins was 20 for 48, almost 42% from the three-point line.
Ricky Pierce playing Dan Marley. There's the switch. McMillan out on him, and Marley misses the 3. Tipped out of there into the hands of McMillan. Here's Ricky Pierce. Chance for the Sonics to take the lead. This crowd getting nervous. 1:31 to go in the game. Kemp defended by Barkley. Got him airborne, then it was blocked. Now the whistle comes from Ronnie Nunn. Kemp, a masterful job in the paint.
You're right. That was just a great job of hanging in the air because Charles Barkley actually played pretty good defense. The help side comes over. Oliver Miller hanging in the lane right there, and just his ability to stay in the air was able to get him to foul. So Sean Kemp now has a chance to give Seattle their first lead, and I don't know how long. How long has it been since the last lead for Seattle?
The foul is on Chambers, his 4th. It's tied at 97 with 1:23 to go. Sean Kemp with 13.6 rebounds. Look at the free throw stats.
Seattle's last lead, 56-55 early in the third quarter, and they take the lead on Sean Kemp's 2 free throws. They now lead by 1.
1:22 to go in the ball game. McKee pressuring lightly Kevin Johnson. See, they put McKee out on Kevin Johnson.
Long, lanky guy, try to prevent him from penetrating, get a hand up on his shot.
The kick out to Marley. Now down to Charles Barkley. He finds Ainge. 5 to shoot. Danny Ainge on the dribble. He's to Miller. Miller with a lay-in. Big bucket by Miller and excellent ball movement by the Phoenix Suns. Under a minute to go. It's a 1-point Suns lead.
Ricky Pierce and Ainge, that's the matchup they'd like to go to.
Ainge doing a good job denying him the ball. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Seattle ball. Timeout. George Karl and the Seattle SuperSonics with 8 on the shot clock and 45.5 left in the game. Phoenix leading it by 1.
About it being a game of inches.
This was oh so close to a deflection. Danny Ainge is going to drive the ball to the basket, and watch Sean Kemp. He's going to reach out and right there almost get the deflection, misses it, and Oliver Miller with the finish to give the Suns a 1-point lead, 99-98. 8 seconds now remaining on the shot clock, so the ball is going to be inbounded, and something's going to have to be created going to the basket. Maybe a back screen for Ricky Pierce with Sam Perkins or something to get the ball to Ricky Pierce. I think he's the guy you'd like to see get this shot.
To McMillan, just handed off to him. 6 on the shot clock. Sam Perkins. That was a big rebound by Charles Barkley.
I'm not sure that's what George Karl wanted, a fading shot there at the...
Oh, I know he did. You can see the look of disgust on his face.
You got to get something going to the basket. You're in the penalty. That's a bailout shot.
Timeout on the floor. 36.7 left. Suns by 1 point. Sam Perkins takes and misses a very tough shot.
A fading shot. Still about 4 seconds on the shot clock, and we didn't like it here. I wonder what Sean Kemp thought about this shot.
I don't know if I would have taken that shot. Perkins, 25% from the field in the first 2 games. 16 points the hard way tonight. 4 of 17 tonight.
However, 1 point separates these two teams. Phoenix has the ball, 36.7 seconds left.
Number 22. See, the interesting thing about this, Phoenix has to go length to the floor. So if Seattle will play good defense, they'll have the last shot to win this game. So although that was not a great shot, if they stop Phoenix here, they're in a position to win the game on the last possession.
Millen on Kevin Johnson.
What you don't want to do is foul here. High screen roll, Barkley, KJ.
Now McMillan is on Charles Barkley. Kemp runs over to double team. Good ball movement. 8 to shoot. 5, 3. It's out of bounds off Phoenix. Seattle ball with 17.4 to go in the game. And George Karl has called timeout. And Seattle, as Doug, as you pointed out, with a stop on Phoenix, has an opportunity for the last chance and a chance to steal a game in Phoenix. I don't think anybody thought this would happen.
That's all you ask, is give yourself a chance to win late. They played excellent defense. You got the switch. They do a nice job of rotating here. Kemp does. It goes back to KJ. You see the shot clock at the top starting to wind down now. It goes to Marley. He can't create his shot. And Sean Kemp does a great job of denying Barkley the ball. Goes out of bounds. 17.4 seconds to go. So you're saying if you're George Karl, we got the last shot to win this game. And when you think about how many free throws that Phoenix has shot tonight here at home, and the fact that Seattle's not shot that great a percentage, I mean, you'd have to really count your blessings to steal a game tonight.
Phoenix has shot 41 free throws. However, they have hit only 26.
Well, we talked about earlier how many of the misses and how it could come back to haunt them now. We've seen Phoenix now get their stops defensively. Question is now, where do you go if you're Seattle? I have to think you go through Ricky Pierce. That's the guy who's been doing it all night.
You and I talked at the beginning of the ball game how Jordan does it for Chicago, Ewing for New York, Elijah Wan for Houston. I mean, everybody's got a guy to go to, and Seattle doesn't. And I think I agree with you. Based on tonight's performance, Ricky Pierce has been their offensive guy.
I would go to Ricky Pierce even though he's going to be played by Marley, because he's also a great free throw shooter. And he has the respect of the officials. He's a veteran player, so there's a chance that if he gets the contact, he's going to get a chance to go to the free throw line. Remember now, offensive rebounding by Seattle. They're an excellent offensive rebounding team. So the initial shot might be defended, but you've got to clean up the defensive board.
Particularly Kemp and McKee.
Exactly. Those two guys have come alive. You've got Perkins, Kemp, and McKee on the front line right now. A big front line. Nate McMillan is your point guard. Ricky Pierce your off guard. First thing you got to do is got to get the ball in.
McMillan into Kemp and back to McMillan. See the time remaining in this game. Perkins is going to take a three. Oh, my!
That was set up for him to shoot a three. You talk about a gutsy call.
It's a 2-point Seattle lead. This building got so quiet. If I stop talking for a moment, which I will, just listen to this.
hanging on. Who would have expected a three here?
Well, remember now, Sam Perkins hit a shot like this when he was with the Lakers to beat the Bulls in game 1. Now, we're going to hold it right here. This is what they're going to do. They're going to run a screen roll. And as he rolls, they're going to force Oliver Miller to give help. We're going to run it to that point, and I'll show you what happens. There's the screen, and there's the roll. Oliver Miller comes over here, so we stop it. Perkins works back, and Barkley has got to try to guard 2 people. This was a play that was set up. Perkins gets his feet together. Miller cannot get back out there soon enough, and he buries the 3 in almost the same spot that he hit the shot to beat the Bulls in game 1 2 years ago when he was with the Lakers.
Talk about 19 points the hard way, but Sam Perkins hits the big one. Sonics have outscored the Suns 10-2 the last 2 minutes 40 seconds. We have 9.8 seconds remaining in this game. Sonics lead it by 2. Sonics known to be an excellent defensive team. Perkins on Kevin Johnson. He blows right by Perkins. He can't shoot it down there. Ainge, the runner.
That's a tough shot. Barkley threw him down. That would be a loose ball foul.
Yes, the call made by Mike Mathis.
They're going to call it on Barkley for throwing down Sean Kemp. So Kemp will shoot 2 free throws. A very, very tough shot for Ainge on the move.
Seattle is going to steal this game. This is amazing. You and I talked throughout this game, Doug, that they had, as you look at this again, we'll come back to that point. There's the run, and here's Barkley. You already see the body on the floor. You couldn't see the action. Talked about how Phoenix looked in control of this game for almost the entire game. Phoenix, however, never pulled away. They'd get 10, cut it to 4. 10, cut it to 6.
They let him hang around, and the missed free throws have really haunted them. When we talked about that in the 3rd quarter, they have missed 15 free throws on the night. So you get to the line 40-plus times at home, and you force your opponent to shoot in the 40%, you're supposed to win. But the Seattle defense has put themselves in a position here, if Kemp can make these 2 free throws, to go back to Seattle 1-1. That's all they asked for coming down here.
Tonight, Kemp at the free throw line is 4 of 6. Big one here. That gives him the 3-point bulge. This one will ice it with 1.7 seconds left.
Now he has come to life. Kemp, remember, early in the second half had 4 points, and McKee had none. They now have 18 combined. That's 16 points now for McKee, so he has come to life over the last quarter and a half.
You know, George Karl told, as he talks about this team, as he just gets popped by Sam Perkins, I think that's symbolic the way it is. He said this team is like riding a whirlwind. Now they have the 4-point lead over Phoenix with 1.7 remaining.
1.7 seconds to go. We're going to show you. Here's Charles Barkley locked up with Sean Kemp. So when the runner goes up by Ainge, you're going to see him right here throw down Sean Kemp. Right there with the left arm, he throws him down. It's a good call by Mike Mathis to wipe away the possible 2. And George Karl has to be ecstatic that his team has been able to hold on and hang in there long enough to steal this game tonight.
Marley takes the 3. Misses it. 1.7 seconds goes. Seattle has sneaked in here and stolen a game. This series is tied at 1. We talked about Jordan at Chicago, Ewing at New York, Barkley at Phoenix. We said, who would be the man for Seattle?
Well, Ricky Pierce with 34 points, but importantly enough, they've averaged 102 points a game at home, 88 on the road. Seattle scores 103 tonight and is able to steal the win late.
Okay, in just a moment, Ricky Pierce is going to join us here at the table. But first, let's go to Ernie Johnson Jr. in Atlanta.
Thank you very much, Bob Neal. A rare road win during the playoffs for the Seattle SuperSonics. They tie the series 1 apiece with the Phoenix Suns. Let me tell you about a story that's going to be in the New York Times tomorrow. Reportedly that Michael Jordan spent some late hours at a Atlantic City casino Tuesday morning before Tuesday night's game. Employees and fans at Bally's Grand, the paper says, saw Michael there as late as 2:30 in the morning. The game started at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night. Now, Jerry Krause, who's the Bulls' vice president of basketball operations, says he can't believe Michael would do something like that he has too much respect for his team, but says maybe he did go down there for a couple of hours, but Michael has a great sense and feel for his own body. Michael Jordan was not available for comment on this story, which will appear in the New York Times tomorrow morning. Now, inside the NBA comes your way next. The beleaguered Bulls, one of their stories. Also the story of Pat Williams and his large, happy family. He's adopted more than a dozen kids, he and his wife, and small forwards in the 1993 draft. All that coming up with Vince Cellini and Mike Glenn on Inside the NBA next. And our final playoff game here on TNT will be Game 3 of the SuperSonics series from Seattle. They are tied up at a game apiece. And Hubie Brown will be joining us in the studio on Friday night. Let's go back now to Phoenix. Ricky Pierce, a big game. The Sonics winners. Let's go back to the guys.
Seattle comes in here and steals a game. At the beginning of this game, Ricky Pierce, Doug Collins and I talked about Jordan with Chicago, Ewing with New York, Barkley with Phoenix. Who's going to be the man for Seattle, particularly in this game tonight? Turns out to be you offensively, 34 points. Talk about your star by committee, so to speak. That's what George Karl calls it.
Well, I wanted to come out early. You know, they really did a good job on me in the first game. I didn't really get involved in the offense early. I got 3 fouled, and I was concentrating tonight on getting started early.
What is the key to your getting started early? The kinds of plays they run or your mental attitude? What's
well,
the key?
I normally get mine in a transition offense. When we're running and pushing the ball, that's when I do my thing.
Absolutely. Get down quickly. Get them before they set up. Get into the paint. Get those shots.
Get them on their heels and penetrate the basketball.
That's just what Doug Collins described.
Well, Ricky, what I saw in tonight's game, it looked to me like, especially when Oliver Miller was in the game, you guys were throwing out to you in the transition, and you were going to quick screen roll, and he was not showing up big. You either getting the shot or turning the corner. Was that something you talked about doing?
Definitely talked about that. The first game, I wasn't going all the way over on the pick and roll. And Coach, we talked about taking it 3 or 4 dribbles over and getting them spread and opening up the court.
You know, one of the things, too, when you think about that, you put Phoenix on the foul line over 40 times tonight here, and you did not shoot a high percentage other than yourself. This is a tremendous win for you and your team.
Oh, it's a great win. We're really thankful for this win tonight. You know, our confidence is back up, and we're going to try and go back to our place and take care of business.
We talked about how explosive you are at home and the troubles you've had on the road. You get a big win here. What's the key to the win at home? Is it the crowd? Do you feed off the crowd? Why is there such a difference in the Sonics in the Coliseum than on the road?
Well, our crowd has been good for us all year, but, you know, as players, we're going to have to come out and play basketball. Just like we won here tonight, they can easily win at our place if we don't come out with a good mental attitude and stay aggressive.
Well, congratulations on your particular performance, your personal performance, and on your teams tonight. Doug and I kept saying, looks like Phoenix is in control of this game. I guess we thought it and the fans thought it, but you didn't think that.
Well, we didn't give up. We kept hustling and scrapping and rebounding, and it turned out good.
One other question. Did you set that play up, the last play, with the high screen roll, really realizing that Miller would come over to help and work Sam out for the 3? Was that set up for a 3?
Well, they was jumping me on the pick and roll.
Right.
And Sam, he's so good and smart at popping back out at the 3. And it was wide open. He got open a lot on that play tonight.
Well, it looked like you got the rookie sucked in defensively and just couldn't get back out. And Sam, I said that's the same shot he hit to beat Chicago in Game 1 of the championship series when he was with the Lakers. So you have confidence with him shooting that shot.
He's our best three-point shooter by far.
Ricky Pierce, 34 points tonight, and he is our Budweiser player of the game. 13 of 20 from the floor and got 17 points in each half. Talk about balance and an even, consistent performance. And now Seattle goes back for the game on Friday night, which will be here on TNT, with a 1-1 tie, getting the 103-99 victory over Phoenix here tonight. We'll be back to wrap it up in just a moment from America West Arena in Phoenix. So the Sonics outscore the Suns 33-23 in the fourth quarter, led by Ricky Pierce with 34 points and the huge three-pointer by Sam Perkins. Seattle 103-99. Be sure to stay with TNT as NBA action continues Friday at 9 Eastern Time with Game 3 of this Western Conference Final when the Phoenix Suns head to the Seattle Coliseum to take on the SuperSonics. Coming up next, Inside the NBA with Vince Cellini and Mike Glenn. For Doug Collins, this is Bob Neal saying good night from Phoenix.